So continuation of this. I don't want don't want to go back. He asked me, stuttering a little. I smiled and nodded. I kneeled down on one in front of him with my back facing him. Come, get on, I said, smiling. Mark giggled and climbed on my back. I stood up with Mark on my back. He snuggled his face into my back and sighed happily. I smiled and blushed. We began to walk to my house. I have an adorable red-haired boy on my back. Awesome! I swung around a little. Mark let out almost adorable giggles. I laughed and began to walk again. All of a sudden, I felt Mark grip my sweatshirt tighter, and he began to shake. "What's wrong, Mark?" I asked him. He shakily pointed ahead, and I saw all my jock buddies walking our way. They were pushing each other around and being idiots as usual. "It's gonna be all right," I told Mark, and he held on to me tighter. Hit his face in my back. The guys noticed. "Hey, Jack!" they yelled. I just ignored them and keep walking. They ran over to us, realizing Mark was on my back. "What the freak?" one of them said. "Why is this faggot on your back?" another asked. And then Mark punched in the back. I heard Mark whimper in pain, and I lost it. I kicked the guy who hit Mark in the stomach. He groaned and fell over. The others stared at me in complete shock. "What the freak?" They all said. "Listen, and listen good. You will never lay another hand on this boy on my back. Understand?" I yelled at them, and they all backed away and began to shake. They all nodded, and frantically I ran away. Mark pulled his face away from my back and smiled. "Thank you, Jack." "Yeah," he said. I smiled and blushed. "You're welcome, Mark." Well, me and Mark finally made it to my house. I unlocked the door, swung it open. Mark climbed down my back and hugged me. I smiled and hugged him back. "Thank you so much for today, Jack," he said. I held him closer. "You're welcome, Mark. From now on, I'll protect you." After me and Mark hugged for a while, I walked to my room. "Want to play some video games?" I asked Mark. He smiled and nodded, but I put on bed, and we took turns playing levels. Mark was getting stressed, and it was pretty adorable. "Hey, want to spend the night?" I asked shyly. Mark smiled in disbelief at me in disbelief, quickly nodded. I smiled and hugged him. I put on a scary movie for me and Mark to watch in my room. I was downstairs in the kitchen making popcorn. I heard the door open and walked in. My parents drunk as usual. I rolled my eyes and tripped over as they tripped over each other and made it to their room. Popcorn was ready and I brought it upstairs. Mark was in the bed wrapped in a blanket. He saw me and smiled. I blushed and smiled back. I sat down on the bed. Mark shared a blanket and we began to eat popcorn. As I started the movie. While we were watching, I heard noises of the things breaking downstairs. Mark gave me a worried look. He didn't know about my parents. I got up and locked the door. I sat back down and was surprised when I felt Mark cuddle into my chest. I blushed and hugged him close. A jump scare made him bury his face in my chest. I giggled and rubbed his back. "He's so small and delicate. He's such a cutie." Suddenly my phone buzzed. I rolled my eyes and picked it up. It was from one of the jocks, Michael. "Are you a fag?" "So what if I am? It's not your concern. Just tell me if you are, idiot." "Yes, I am gay. Happy." Disgusting. Freak off. I blocked him and continued to watch a movie. I didn't realize at first, but I slowly started to stroke Mark's red hair. My God, he's so cute. I was so in love with him. The movie had ended and Mark let out a most adorable yawn. I giggled and put a blanket over both of us. I wrapped my arms around Mark and he cuddled into my chest. I mentally squealed and closed my eyes. I kissed Mark's head as I drifted to sleep. I woke up and saw Mark still cuddling into my chest. I smiled and stared at him for a few seconds. I kissed his head and climbed out of bed. Thankfully not waking up Mark, I walked downstairs to make some coffee. I heard a yawn and turned my attention to the steps. I saw Mark walk down. He looked tired on his face. I smiled and giggled. "Morning, sleepyhead," I said. Mark smiled. "Morning," he mumbled. He walked over to me and hugged me. He buried his face in my chest. I blushed sleepily and hugged him. "You're warm," I heard Mark's muffled voice. I giggled and kissed his head. "Jack, we have to go back to school tomorrow," I nodded. At what Mark said, Mark looked up at me with a sad expression. "I'm scared," he said. "You don't need to be. I'm going to protect you," I said, holding him close. Mark smiled and kissed my cheek. "Thank you," he said, hugging me tighter, and I heard a ding and I heard and the coffee was done. I grabbed my mug and poured some coffee in it. I added cream and sugar. I stirred it in and smiled. As I handed it to Mark, he smiled and took a sip. Thank you, he said, nodding. Want to play some video games, I asked him. He smiled wide. Yeah! Now I can actually smell it. I'm just, God. Just, when they started talking about it, I could actually smell it. I'm like, it actually smells pretty good. The next day, I woke up yet again with Mark cuddled to my chest. I could get used to this. I kissed his forehead, waking him up. He looked at me and smiled. Good morning, he said with an adorable, tired voice. Good morning, I said back. Remember that we're going back to school? I held onto Mark tighter. It's gonna be okay, Sean. Like you told me. Remember? Mark said with a smile. I nodded and ruffled his hair. He got stuck on his tongue and ruffled my hair. I giggled and kissed his nose. He blushed and smiled. I'm going to take a shower, said Mark, climbing out of bed. He went to the bathroom and shut the door. I sighed happily and got out of bed. How hard can it be to confess your love to someone? Sure, me and Mark kissed each other on the face, but we're not officially a couple. I wanted to tell him how I feel so bad. Just tell him. My brain was yelling at me. I want to tell him so bad I love him with all my heart. I want him to be mine, and I want him to be mine and want to be his. I showered up and climbed out. I wrapped a towel around my waist and started to brush my hair. I heard a knock on the door. Mark, are you almost done? I need to brush my teeth, I said Sean. You can come in, I said. Sean walked and blushed deeply red. I smiled and walked over and stood next to the sink with me. He began to brush his teeth. I would glance over every time once in a while. Sean washed his mouth and got rid of the toothpaste. He took the towel and went behind me in dirty clothespins. And right when he turned and faced back, my towel went off. I squealed and grabbed the towel, wrapping it around my waist again. Me and Mark's faces were red as cherries. I'll wait outside, said Jack, walking out of the bathroom quickly. I took a deep breath and put on my clothes, trying to forget what happened. I was sitting on my bed trying to get thought of Mark's body out of my head. His tan back, his perfect skin, his hot pale blood. I looked down. Oh shit, I whispered. Thank God I got rid of my boner by the time Mark came out of the bathroom. He was fully dressed. He smiled and I returned it. We got our stuff and walked out of the house. Me and Mark were telling jokes while walking. God, I love his laugh. I was laughing when Sean told a joke. Hey Mark, he said. Yes, Sean? I replied. We're friends, right? He asked, looking away. I grabbed his hand and gave a little squeeze. Of course we are, I said, smiling. He gave me a bright smile. We continued to walk to school, and we never let go of each other's hands. It's like that one September thing, just like, I think they think we're gay. Yeah. It's like, where's the man? Nope.
And Jennifer call back yet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thought your mom. We walked through the school gates, still hand in hand. I felt like our hands fit together perfectly. Everyone in campus stared at us a lot. A lot of them had disgusted looks on their face, but some had warm smiles. Me and Mark walked into the classroom and sat next to each other. Man, this looks cool. I'd never been to school like that. Me and Mark talked to each other until the teacher walked in. He's the coolest teacher. He let us call him his first name. His first name was Felix. Oh, it's Felix Kohlberg. I love that.
Claimed or verified. We apologize if you have been receiving a high volume of calls. If your Google listing is not verified, it may be
No one
difficult for people
cares.
to find your business
I'm so
online.
sorry. Okay, his name is Felix. Good morning, everyone, he said, putting his stuff on his desk. Imagine if Felix Kohlberg. He wrote on the board what we'd be working on today. Suddenly, a group of jocks walked in. They walked over and surrounded me and Mark. One of them put their hands on Mark's shoulder. Hey, faggot, one of them said, making the others laugh. Leave him alone. I pushed his hands away. He looked at me angrily. Looks like we got two faggots in here, he yelled, laughing. You three go to the office now, Felix yelled at them. The boys jumped and stomped out of the room. I smiled at Felix. Oh, I never thought the teachers would have a point of view. I'm so sorry. I'm laughing so much. I'm laughing. I smiled at 3 boys left my classroom. I accept no bullying in my class. My phone buzzed. It was my husband. Cry. Oh, I knew it. Hi, baby. I'm at the store. You need anything? Can you get me new headphones? Sure. I gotta teach. Love you. Love you too. I knew it was Kohlberg. Is that how you pronounce it? Kohlberg or Kohlberg? I don't know. I'm so sorry. As soon as I leave him alone, I'm like, I know people are messing with him. It was after class, and all the students were piling out of the classroom. Me and Jack walked into Felix's desk. Thank you, Felix, we said, referring to him helping us with the bullies. He gave us a warm smile. No problem, boys, he said. Me and Mark walked out of the classroom and saw halls were pretty empty. I had to go to the bathroom really bad, I said to Jack. He smiled and told me he'd wait for me. I walked in and felt color drain from my face. Michael, Chad, and Brad were in the bathroom smoking cigarettes. They were the main bullies. They saw me and smirked. I turned to leave, but one of them grabbed my arm. I tried to call for Sean, but they covered my mouth. I was thrown to the ground and began to kick me while laughing. Jeez, it's been a while. I should check on him. I walked into the bathroom and felt my blood boil. I saw a precious sweet Mark being beaten up by some jocks. Hey, leave him alone, I yelled. They all laughed. What are you going to do if we don't? They asked, laughing. I lunged at them and punched in one of the face, probably, breaking his nose. One of them ran at me, but I kneed him in the stomach. He ran out of the bathroom swearing. The last one, the leader, ran at me, and he punched me while I fell to the ground. I kicked him in the knee, bent over, and grabbed his knee. I grabbed his hair and slammed him into the ground. I was panting heavily. I saw Mark shaking and whimpering. I quickly crawled over to him and cradled him in my arms. Mark, are you okay? I asked. He nods, but as soon as his eyes close, I start to worry until I hear him snoring a little. I pick him up bridal style and carry him out of the bathroom. I walk to the school exit, but the teacher stops me. You kids can't leave yet, he said. I looked at him.
What's so funny? I got you.
I say walk out of the school with Mark in my arms. That's normal. That's perfectly normal. And carry Mark into my house. I shut the door with my foot and walked up to my bedroom. I put Mark in my bed. He's still not awake. I walked downstairs and grabbed a cool wet cloth. I ran underwater cotton balls, walked to the bathroom and grabbing a dab of alcohol. I walked back upstairs to see Mark look very peaceful. I put the piece of cloth on his head and put alcohol in the cotton ball. I blushed and took off Mark's shirt. I cleaned his cuts and covered them up. I feel Mark stir a little bit, and soon his eyes open. I sigh in relief and kiss his forehead. He smiles and giggles. He sees the cloth on his head and cotton balls. Paging nurse, Jackaboy, he says, giggling. I rolled my eyes and smacked his arm painfully. Mark puts one more serious question. There's something I need to tell you. Mark says. I nod. Mark takes a deep breath. I start interrupting a man and woman stumbling through the door loudly. They were obviously drunk. They walked straight to another room with a bottle of gin in both their hands. What were you saying? Jack asked me. Thanks for taking care of me, I said. Jack kisses my forehead. No problem, he says, smiling. I swear to myself in my head for being a coward as usual. I was so freaking close at another day. I lay on the couch watching TV with Jack. I was making something to eat, moving slightly, whimpering, feeling my bruise touch the couch. I sigh and get more comfortable. Suddenly my phone buzzes. I felt my temper rise and I typed fast. Well, if you guys like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you haven't already, just do it. Okay?